and see if anyone jumps on. We got some people. I need to plan these ahead. That's part of the thing too. That's so funny. Let's see if people jump on. Well, I wanted to jump on today and talk about a specific topic. Who knows if, yeah. Hi guys. Drop in a comment when you jump in. I wanted to talk about a very interesting thing that I came across. And it might be a little controversial for some peeps. Hi people. Hi Irene. Hi Faith. And yeah, I'm going to talk about it. So I thought it was really cool because I came across recently, oh, the UK, how appropriate, because I was going to actually talk a little bit about someone from the UK. But hi guys, hi, so good to see you. Hello. Thank you, Irene, thank you so much. It's good to see all you guys. That's good. Binge watching, I understand that completely. So I was, where was it at? Oh yes, I follow Russell Brand. I'm sure you guys know who he is, obviously. And he is, for those of you that might not know, but I'd be very surprised if you didn't, he is like a comedian slash used to be an actor, but he's now a pretty popular podcaster on YouTube, and he's really freaking cool. And I listen to his stuff occasionally, quite a bit, because I would probably say I agree with his views a lot, and I really appreciate how open and he is about his path with, struggling with drugs and then having to go through the process of like even him coming into his spirituality, which I think was really incredible. So recently he posted something on his Instagram that I thought was really freaking cool. And he started pulling tarot cards, which totally surprised me. I was like, what? Because I just never expected that. Not to say that he's ever come across with really strong religious views, but I thought it was so freaking cool. And what's even more fascinating is that recently he posted something about him getting baptized. And I think this is really important to acknowledge because so many religions or things in general they just like automatically put you in a box, and then it's like you're not allowed to go outside the limitations of exactly what that, like, maybe that belief system or that philosophy is. And it's very unfortunate because I actually feel in this world, in this reality, there's so many unlimited things that you can be. And I think that, like, that's healthy, and it shows a sign of healthy flexibility in your personality to be able to go outside what you've always known and to learn like a different culture. That's how we unite and come together more in communities. And so I just thought that was so freaking cool, and I just feel very like I resonate very much with his path because he's like now pulling tarot cards but also getting baptized, and he looks like your modern day Jesus, and I just think that's really cool. And I think that a lot of tarot readers can be a very interesting lesson for people with really strong religious views, because there's so much negative connotation around it, which I still don't quite understand, even though I know. Yeah, so for those of you popping in, I'm talking about Russell Brand. And if you have a chance, you're on Instagram, you should go over and check his reels where he's pulling tarot cards, because the comments are hilarious. And I just thought it was really funny. Like, he just doesn't care. And I think that's even better. And so what was it that he did? Oh, yes, the comments. So I did go through and look at them, because I was like, oh man, those are going to be super intense. And I went down below, and there were a lot of people that said something along the lines of, Russell, you don't need tarot, you need Jesus. And I wanted to talk about this too, because just because, like, I've come across so much information, like, you don't even know, I'm sure you guys do know, but I watch and dive into a lot of different stuff. Like, I enjoy reading different things and checking into different cultures. And something that I came across, oh no, what was it? So when it was Russell's, oh yes. So like, I came across for a while this whole thing of people saying they like came to Jesus, from New Age to Jesus. And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. And I want to bring up a couple of different things about some of the things people said in those. I won't ever discount people's experiences. Like, people are entitled to their own thing, but bad things happen in the world, whether people follow a religion or Jesus or not. Like, I was young and involved in a church from a very young age, but that didn't stop certain like abusive things that happened to me. And even when I started fasting, and I wasn't even like doing tarot online, I still came across a lot of really challenging situations. And I think that's something important to acknowledge, because even when Christ was fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, it's not like he was dealing tarot cards while he was fasting. He still, according to records and things, he still came across the devil and was tempted by the devil. So I don't think that there's just no one set way of doing things in this reality that's going to completely keep you away from darkness. Like, the more light you become, the more shadows you cast. So I still just don't agree. And I am the type of person that thinks, like, I would rather be associated with someone or be close with someone who has all of the things they're into right up front, versus coming across a person that hides all those things that they're into but they're ashamed of. Like, this is what I'm into, and that's what it is. And I think that's so important to talk about, because like, these kind of things can be so taboo and get a lot of type of judgment. And I wanted to talk about that, because the comments, like, seriously, you guys have to go over and check out the comments, because of course, like, I've come across all sorts of judgment from what I do, and at this point I just don't care. I'm like, well, I know how many people I've helped, and that makes me feel like it's justified. And there have definitely been times over the past 5 or 6 years that I've taken legit breaks and decided like what I wanted to do or if I still resonated with this. And I still felt like during those times, I mean, you guys that know me on the channel, I've occasionally taken 3 to 4 week long breaks to do a lot of like spiritual retreat and things like that. And I still, after all that time of evaluation and introspection, decided this was still something that I felt really good about. So, to each their own, everyone has their own path and journey, and I'll just continue and see, like, you know, I've known even certain people that they can be in such good positions and still get a ton of flack from everything in the environment and haters and things like that. So the more that you, I think, stick to something that is true to you, it will bring up more of the opposition. Maybe it's a test, who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen some things being out in the world and traveling around solo. I have definitely been privy to some really, really intense things. I always tell people that the green in me is pretty gone. Like, I feel pretty experienced at this point in my life. So that doesn't really go away. Whether you're into tarot or you're the most perfect Christian human that's alive on this planet, I think you're always just going to come up with opposition. But I personally, I just like, I want to embrace people like that are brave enough to go against the status quo and to break certain like perceptions or paradigms or expectations. You know, Russell Brand should never have to cater to anyone's expectations of who he needs to be as a leader. Like, he is actually very brilliant, because just by that one move, just by pulling a freaking card on a video, he just made a mass amount of people that feel excluded and scapegoated in this reality. He just found a way to make them feel inclusion. And that's so important to understand as a leader, to be diverse enough and flexible. Flexibility is just so healthy. And I just think personally, those are the type of leaders that I would want to follow. People that have strong views, but also can be open to, hey, I'm kind of into this right now. I'm kind of curious about this. And then willing to go in and explore that, and to be like very upfront about it on social media. Wow. I'm telling you guys, that's bravery right there. But most influencers or people like that generally probably won't look at the comments, because people will come for you, you know? Yes, so you guys will probably have to go through the recap of this, but yeah, I was talking about Russell Brand and how he's pulling tarot cards now. I never thought I'd see the day. Like, can you imagine? I imagine like someone, do you know, be so freaking cool as if someone like Eckhart Tolle or what is his name? Tony Robbins, like someone funny like that, started pulling tarot cards. That would be so freaking cool. So yeah, like I said, you guys really should go and check out his videos, because I really think it seems like he's getting into it. Maybe he's been into it before, but I think he's just beginning to start to pull these, because like generally, if you do go off of the original meanings of cards, they can be super helpful. And they have a lot of good introspective things for you to like, oh, okay, this might be burning out. Understanding being human is so complex. Like, oh my gosh. So I think it's helpful like that to be able to put a picture to words and to be able to understand, oh, this is how I can be handling my life better. This is how I can be developing myself in a better way. That is the way that I view it. Now, every person, it's almost like almost like controversial topics. Like, you can put a person in behind the wheel of a car and they can be toxic with it. It's same with anything in this reality. Like, if you give a person some kind of set of tools, you know, something to navigate with, anyone can abuse that. And I think that's where you always have to use discernment. Okay. But yeah, learning, oh my gosh, like the lessons that have come even with this path have been really big lessons. But I think it's important to understand, like, now we've got to navigate a whole new way of being with social media. Now we've got to try to figure out, okay, now how does this all work? How is energy going to be distributed through this line of communication? Like, that's a whole other realm to dive into, because we're still, I mean, if you think about it, like, everyone in this reality, people that are in the million range of followers or whatever, they might be further along in figuring out this whole process. But I think in general, for the collective, when it comes to navigating social media, that's like, we're all at pages in a way, because I've talked about this many times before. We probably won't know full on long term effects of like this whole interaction and the amount of information that we're receiving constantly. We probably won't full on see the effects of that until maybe like 10, 20 years down the line, just like it is with anything. Like, I would probably say, I mean, if you think back, I'm not even going to get into that, actually. I'm going to hold that back because I probably am not able to comment on that. But yeah, dating is so challenging. People interview others over dating apps these days. Yeah, dating is like a whole other realm. But I feel like dating is only like that because of, I'm so nerdy, but I feel like it's because of chemicals and stuff. I don't think people in dating was as complex like 50 or so years ago, but it was a whole different ball game back then. So that might not even be the most accurate assessment, but yes. Anyway, so I wanted to jump on, that's all. That's all that I wanted to talk about, because I just love that in general. And I really urge you guys to go over and check out Russell Brand and his Instagram page and look at his tarot card reading, because he's just freaking cool. Yeah, chemicals. I think that like, I've talked about this before, how like I've talked about this constantly over on my Instagram, but how like environmental chemicals and maybe even processed foods, you could take it to an extent, may have caused like alterations or disconnections in normal relationship bonding. And so now it's even a more challenging process. But I think there's a lot more to it than that. But that could be a portion of why things are so complex. Like, yeah, I think like super popular right now is like dating coaches, right? Relationship coaches that are trying to help other people interpret other people correctly. I think that is like, wow, we need leaders to help us now interpret another person and like how to even go into relationship. Super interesting. Either that was something that we needed 60 years ago, but maybe it was more natural. But I mean, evolution in general is taking us in a different direction. Like, now we've got females that have rights. Like, a lot of cultural things have shifted, obviously, over the past 100 years. So, like, it's a whole new lay of the land. So, there is so much more involved in it, obviously, than chemicals, but I do feel like that is included with a lot of stuff. I don't even care. I mean, that's possible, Taylor. Um, I think with dating coaches, that part of the reason why I don't listen too much to that is because to be told what to say, which I know to a certain point, learning how to navigate relationships in a healthy way is important to learn. That's why people go to therapy. When you grew up in like some kind of abusive dynamic, now you've got to relearn how to be in relationships. So that is one part of it. And sometimes, yeah, maybe it is beneficial. I just sometimes think that there's a titch of inauthenticity when you have to be told what to say to a person to come into relationship in the first place versus being told how to develop a healthy relationship with yourself and then it just authentically comes from you. Because I've seen that, I'd probably say, in my own life. So, anyway, that's what I think. I know I do need modulators. If I have any people that want to volunteer for that, that would be really amazing. So, yeah, these are just all my trolls. It is what it is. But anyway, this was meant to just be a short live because I just wanted to talk about Russell Brand and how important it is for people that have these really strong religious views, like to be challenged to act Christ-like, because that is probably the biggest test. Like, you probably won't be able to act Christ-like if you're just dealing with all people in this world that are Christians. Like, that's why we have diversity and people that are into different things, because it presents a situation for you to be challenged and to go outside of the box and actually implement a lot of the things that are taught in Christianity about being Christ-like and being kind and compassionate. And there's a difference between like actively pointing out dynamics, and people can become quite reactive to that because people in general don't want their shadow called out, you know? It takes like a highly evolved person to say something, or A, to put up a boundary, B, to communicate a truth that is like either affecting, like if I understand, or I figure out after some time that something is affecting me negatively, and then I decide to go in and approach that situation and talk about it in a very neutral way, then that's very different than if I'm being deliberately very cruel or bullying. Those are very different approaches. So, yes, like, oh, what a tricky thing being a human, but yes, that is the main thing that I wanted to talk about, because I've seen that just in general is I'm pretty used to that. And I know that that can be very challenging for people to try to understand a person that's so different. And when there's all these strong religious things, like I really would want to have more context around like Bible sayings with sorcery, and I think I would believe it more if in the Bible it said tarot cards. So anyway, those are just my views on the whole topic. Cool. Yes, yeah. The women having rights thing is a very, that's still even in a process of evolving, but it is definitely much better. And I'm very grateful to be alive at this time versus like 100 years ago, because yeah, that maybe this is not the correct word, but that sociological evolution is like, that's still navigating new territory. And so that goes on both sides, like men's rights versus women's rights, and then being able to observe potential toxicity on both sides, people's intentions and things like that. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. Anyway, okay, I think I'm gonna jump off. So as an end note, go over and jump on Russell Brand's page, because he's such a delightful human. Like seriously, sometimes he cracks the most hilarious freaking jokes, and I really appreciate the way that his satire is really genius, because he is very good at calling out situations, but he is really great at like putting this spin on what could potentially be like a strong debate or a really serious topic. He is excellent at being able to throw in his sarcasm or his satire to like diffuse the intensity of how the conversation potentially could evolve into. And that's probably the one thing I wish I was as skilled at doing that, but he's brilliant at it. Like I think it's amazing how he's so funny about talking about super serious things. And in general, I think that that's the best way to be, is to be as lighthearted as you can be, and to try to not take things so personal, especially when things are done like full blown on social media and it's not even directed at you. Like that is also the sign of a healthy mindset. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna jump off, guys. Jump over to Russell Brand and have a fun time looking through the comments over there, okay? Thanks for jumping in here and contributing to the comments and stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next little random live or situation that I do sometime in the future, okay? All right. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Be a happy human. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.